Hi, Dr. Paul Haider, Master Herbalist here. Well, what do you think this is? Well, it's a root, as you can tell, and it's long, doesn't have any smell to it. This is taro root, or Yautia, as they call it in Latin countries, and Dasheen roots in Hawaii, Eddoe in Japan, different names in India and China. They even grow in the United States, in the southern states, and they have huge, big leaves. They look like elephant ears. I mean, they're big as me. I have some growing in the backyard, and these are very tasty. And one of my favorite foods, and they have more health benefits than potatoes. I know in the States they have a lot of potatoes, and we have potatoes here also. And here is another. This is the white one. This one here is a purple one, slightly lilac on the inside, and this is totally white on the inside, just a little smaller one. It has some bigger ones out there too, but they are very, very tasty. You know, a lot of people get their idea of what taro root tastes like by having poi for the first time in Hawaii, and that's really not what is not a good representation of what taro root really is. Yeah, I love it like potatoes, you know, cut up and put into soups and stews, and to mash it. It's really great. It has a low glycemic index. That means it breaks down into glucose really slowly so that it helps you, especially the diabetic people and the people who want to lose weight. It breaks into glucose very slowly in the liver, and so you don't also end up with hypoglycemia. And if you're a hypoglycemic person out there, try some taro root or Yautia root. And you can find them in Asian markets and Latin markets, and they're a staple around the world. And the leaves are edible too. You can take those leaves, and especially the young ones, and chop them up and boil them, and they have to be boiled, and the roots have to be boiled also and cooked. And people are even making chips out of them nowadays, and they're really tasty, you know, like taro chips and things like that. And they help you, give you that full feeling also, because they have a lot of fiber, and they're really much healthier than potatoes in general. You know, I like potatoes too. There's no doubt about it. We grow them here also, but I like the creaminess. You know, the Yautia or taro root is much creamier than a potato, and that's a nice thing about it. It's full of vitamin A and C, and which are great antioxidants, and it has a lot of B vitamins in it, which are good for good mood and vitality, and vitamin E, which is really good for sexual health and for good skin. Lots of trace minerals like copper and iron for anemia, magnesium and manganese for enzyme production, zinc and selenium for building up your immune system, potassium for contraction of the heart and regulating that, and water regulation. Has a lot of beta-carotene, cryptoxanthin, which is another antioxidant, and it has a lot of antioxidants compared to potatoes, and they're really tasty too, so that's another great advantage. Antioxidants help to prevent DNA damage and repair DNA damage, and it's cholesterol free. These little babies are cholesterol free, which is nice, and basically fat free also, and a good food in general. It's a lot, like I said, a lot of vitamin A, and it's also contains a lot of polyphenol antioxidants, just like you have for, you know, green tea. The same thing with what we have in taro root or Yautia, and that helps to prevent cardiovascular problems, you know, heart attacks, strokes, and cancer, which is important. And also it helps to lower blood pressure. We have a lot of potassium in there, which helps lower blood pressure and regulate the fluid in our body. You know, a lot of people eat a lot of salt, and we need to have something that's a little bit diuretic, and I find them slightly diuretic also, which is a good thing because too much salt in our foods lately. And everybody could use a little bit of lowering of their blood pressure. And like I said, it doesn't give you those spikes of sugar like you do with potatoes, which is a great thing. We could do without that. We don't need all those spikes in sugar. And when we get those spikes of sugar, you know, it's a potential going into fat. Lots more amino acids, and we have more protein in Yautia or Taro Root than you do in, there's like 17 different amino acids in Taro Root. You don't have that in potatoes. That's the nice thing about it. More protein. Also, omega-3 oils, which you really don't have in a lot of foods. And you're looking for fish for omega-3 oils. Well, you got it here, right, in this nice little, you know, tuber which grows. And they're great looking in your yard. If you ever want those green, great big leaves, look them up on the internet. They're absolutely beautiful. And they help to prevent, you know, the cardiovascular health with the omega-3 oils and the cancer prevention and preventing other diseases. They also are great for reducing fatigue because they, you know, regulate the amount of energy that's coming out in a way of glucose in your body, you know, as it goes through your liver. So you get sustained energy for long periods of time, so you know, don't go up and then crash like you do with sugar and potatoes and that type of thing. So you don't get those glucose spikes, so that's really important. It also helps with irritability because it has a lot of nice trace minerals in it, and it also helps with fighting off colds and flus because it has the zinc and selenium in it. And it can help with skin rashes and nausea. If you have nausea, take a little bit of taro root and it will soothe the GI tract. There's absolutely no doubt about it. Helps to regulate your cholesterol because it's no cholesterol in it at all, and it has a lot of fiber, so it helps to regulate your cholesterol and lower your cholesterol in general. Helps to build strong bones, and it supports the thyroid. And these days we need a lot of support for the thyroid because we have a lot of people coming up with low thyroid, and I think it has to do with a lot of too much plastics in our life, and that interferes with our hormone regulation. It has a great flavor, and it's kind of nutty and creamy, nutty flavor, which is hard to beat. I have to tell you. I used to be a potato man, but I'm really a taro root man. It's really good stuff. They come in about 10 different varieties. There's the white ones like this, which can get as big as this one also. This is the what they call lilia, or the purple variety. And then there are different varieties, different colors, pink ones and different things on the inside, the fleshes. They need to be cooked, there's no doubt about that. And the leaves, if you cut them up and cook them, they taste a lot like cabbage. So you have a dual-purpose plant, which is really nice. And they have a wonderful beauty that's when you have them in your garden. And they like a lot of water, there's no doubt about that. I like them because you can mash them up, and a lot of people here put a little olive oil on them and salt and pepper, and that's the way to eat them. They can be roasted and boiled and steamed and fried and made into chips and pureed. You've probably seen taro chips in your local store. I like to take and mash them, add a few spices to them, make a nice layer in a pan, and put another layer of different vegetables and another layer of taro root, you know, with different spices, and then layer that up, make a casserole out of it. Really good. You can find these wonderful taro roots at your Asian markets. You can find them at Latin markets, and they're a staple in all those markets. So look for them. They're easy to peel. You just take a peeler to it and peel them, and boil them up, and they're really good. Or you can roast them, whatever you like. But you know, on the average, most people around the world only eat 6 to 8 different types of food, which is kind of boring. And they don't get the nutrients they need from other types of food. And we have thousands upon thousands of different types of food out there which will do the body good. And I think it's really important that we broaden our horizons just a little bit so we can try different foods and find things which are really good for us, which are kind of outside of our, you know, our radar area, and so we can be healthier. You know, I believe you just switch from using potatoes to using taro root, you'd be a lot healthier in general. Everybody would be a lot healthier in general. And you'd lose weight, and you'd feel sustained and full of energy, and you really would really love it. Give it a try. Taro root, Yautia. It's a wonderful, wonderful root veggie. I love you.